Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Michigan International Speedway for tonight's run of the SimPossible Racing League B Car Series. We're here at nestled in the Irish Hills of Michigan, not too far from Detroit, so a pretty big race here for all the auto manufacturers in real life, and why not here as well. But I'm Cameron Rich here with Carlos Acosta, manning those cameras, as well as providing some commentary as well himself. And going to be a big, fast race tonight. This big 2-mile D oval, very popular with fans and drivers alike, just because it's so fast, so racy. There's plenty of room on this racetrack to race around. But for those of you that missed it last week, we were at another big, fast 2.5-mile triangle at the Pocono Raceway, where Tanner Sharp was able to take home the victory. And should be a pretty similar race tonight. Just big, fast racetracks, high speeds, and we're actually starting qualifying right now. There's Craig Covington on the racetrack, coming out to start his qualifying run. And Carlos, as I said just a moment ago, this is a pretty popular track for both fans and drivers alike. I know you drive yourself. How do you think of this place?
Yeah, I barely drive. No, this is a fantastic racetrack. This is Michigan here up in Detroit, where they make where originally all the manufacturers were their home track to be. So every manufacturer wants to win here, but there can only be one winner. So we got Chevy, Ford, Toyota here in the B series that iRacing likes to call it. It's a big, huge, wide track, but there is a challenge. It isn't an easy track. You do have to make sure you keep your tires in check, as well as keeping momentum going around exiting these corners, because these straightaways are pretty huge compared to the track.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is one of the fastest tracks we do actually race on, especially now that this is the repay version. This track was repaved back in 2012, I believe. So it is very fast, very, very wide, like you said, but really it is a bit of a challenge, because even though this track is so wide, you see there in the corner, there's Christopher Burge coming through. I believe that's turn 3 and 4 to begin his lap. But these corners are so wide, but you can really only run effectively the top half of the track. This is a very high line oriented track, or middle to high line, because that bottom side just does not have the grip of the high side. This is not a progressively banked racetrack whatsoever, but it's just the way that the asphalt is, or something about the track. You really have to kind of keep it wound up around the outside of the track.
Yes, I agree. It's very important, although I'm not quite sure if maybe they can get away with it under qualifying, but for sure during the race, you will have to get off of that inside line once these cars get up to speed. It's possible entering turn 1 under a restart or green flag condition could probably work, but if you do not find yourself up against the high side of the track, you're gonna find some trouble. The other aspect is we can clearly see what happened there with the 98. You don't want to get up all the way up against the wall, just because if you tap that wall, you're gonna ruin a very, very aerodynamically sensitive car. While these drivers do have 4 fast repairs, you don't want to waste one just smacking up against the wall, entering the corner or in the middle of the corner. That being said, if you can master that high line, this race is almost could be yours.
And we did see something when that number 98 Up Spurs hit the wall. Brand new sparks in the sim. Actually, they look pretty cool. So it's cool to see that. And more update news. This is the first race, I believe, on 3White TV. Correct me if I'm wrong. That we're going to see the possibility of green white checkers.
Oh, that is, yeah. There's okay. I thought
jumping the gun there a little bit.
Yeah, I jumped it there.
But I do believe, yes, this is the first race that we will see the possibility of green white checkers. Of course, the update rolling out yesterday with a bunch of new stuff, a bunch of new cars, tracks. We got a new series with the off-road trucks, and that's going to be pretty exciting. We might see that here on 3XTV not too far in the future, wink wink. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty fun series, and just pretty big update in general, so it's going to be cool to see if we can actually get that today. Of course, we want to see green flag finishes, excuse me there.
It'll probably be best today, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool that, myself being an iRacing member since 2009, this is something we've been all waiting for since day one, and to finally get it 10 years later, I mean, it's late, but, you know, better late than never, I guess. So,
I only had to wait 5 years.
Well, you know, it's slow, but either way, there's someone who's not slow on the track right now. AJ Digby has a couple wins on the series so far, I believe.
He's not going to have time to post a lap.
I don't think so. Yeah, he was the winner at Talladega, so that is a pretty big track that's up. But yeah, he is pulling off in the track right now. So your pole sitter right now, Nate Cotillo with a 38.895. He's 0.3 quicker than anyone else right now. Dave Wilson in second with a 39.129. So we're really about 2.25 tenths, but that's a very quick lap set by Nate Cotillo, and he also was fastest in practice by about a tenth. So really, that number 4 car today showing some muscle very early on. We'll see if he can roll that into a very good finish, or maybe even win today.
All right, well, let's go ahead and start the grid here. In first place, we're going to have Nate Cotillo, who has yet to grid at the moment, but she should be there pretty soon with David Wilson on the outside. And second place, you're going to be finding, third place, you're going to be finding Chris Roberge in 98 with Kyle Zimmer in fourth. Fifth place will be Tin Masters with Doug McCollum finishing out row 3. In row 4, we have Billy Wise with Fernando Matos on his outside. And in row 5, we have Craig Covington with Johnny Berardi finishing out that row. Cam, take it away. Oh, that's it for the graphic.
Yeah, and the rest of the qualifiers did not post time. Only 10 drivers out of the 18-car field deciding to post a time. Before I go, I was asked by Johnny Berardi to put up a bit of a shout-out. This race tonight dedicated to his sponsor, Linear Henry of Linear Speed Shop, for building his motors in his real-life racing. So, you know, that's pretty cool to know about that. But anyway, starting in 11th, we have Tom Johnson, who was able to win on Monday night in that very epic fuel mileage race at Kansas. 12th, AJ Digby. 13th, Tanner Sharp. 14th, Alan Capers. 15th is Kevin Cochran. 16th, Thomas Wise. 17th is going to be Matthew Lesniewski. And starting to shotgun on the field for what seems like the forever time is Brian Lohead, who never posts a qualifying time.
Wow,
look for him to
drivers.
not stay there very long. Yeah, it's a pretty healthy field tonight at Michigan. Very good to see that. Very cool. We're not in Halloween time yet.
Boo!
But this is going to be a very fun race to watch with all these cars and just the way that racing at Michigan typically tends to be. I think we're going to be in for a treat, Carlos.
Yeah, I agree. Before we do continue, though, Cam, there is another driver who had some special meeting due today, and it's especially his paint scheme regarding what month it is. I don't know if you want to go ahead and talk about that.
I believe you'd be talking about the car of Tanner Sharp, right?
Yes, I agree. Yes.
Yeah, he's running a special Shriners Hospital for children's paint scheme, I believe, and that he was talking about how it was dedicated to, I believe, his condition. I forgot what AMC. Yeah, so you know, cool to see that as well. So a couple special meetings behind this race tonight for 2 of these drivers, and you know, definitely got to hope that both of them will do well.
Yes, with AMC actually having its awareness month this month, so all of June is AMC month.
Very cool.
Is there an issue
we have
with
some.
the 4?
Yeah, it looks like the 4 is having some issue deciding to bet. Maybe he might just be having some hardware issue, the intermittent, but it looks like he's back to speed, coming back up through the field right now. So that is your pole sitter. Definitely don't want to see him have any troubles tonight, but it looks like he's getting back to his spot pretty swiftly. Everybody's giving him some room to get there, so good to see that.
So we are trying some new visual improvements on. We have a couple of brand new effects that are recently released. But Cam, go ahead and take it away as the pace car pulls off.
Yeah, pace car pulls off. Very quick restarts here, so we should be seeing the green flag right about now, and indeed we do. So it looks like everybody gets a restart, except, the 4 of Nate Cotillo did not get going very well. Looks like he might have spun the tires or missed a gear or something, but definitely the 20 of Dave Wilson, as well as Kyle Zimmer in that 25, getting better restarts. I think Nate Cotillo might be going back to the 3rd position here, but no, he's fighting back on the inside line. I don't think there's enough grip down there for him to make a move, and no, there's not. Dave Wilson gets the good run off turn number 2, and now Catilla is under fire from Kyle Zimmer to take that second position away, but definitely not the start that Nate Catilla wanted to have. He was your pole sitter, of course, and he's going to drive it into turn 3. I think he's going to slide up into the 25. Yes, he does, but there was ever so slightly contact there, but either way, both drivers made it out of it alive and will live to fight another day. But that did give a pretty substantial lead to Dave Wilson on that first lap, about 0.3 of a second, while the 4 and the 25 still go at it into turn number 1.
Entering here, lap number 2. Some of these drivers are already crossing the line to see how close they can get to each other. Oh, as we see Craig Hamilton smack up against the wall, it's one of the first things we noted during qualifying. You gotta be careful, treat your car, and make sure it doesn't get any damage. That looks to be fairly significant damage, and with that type of damage, I would not expect for him to be passing any vehicles unless that vehicle makes a mistake.
And battle for the lead here up at the front between Kyle Zimmer and Dave Wilson. Of course, Kyle Zimmer in the 25 car. That is the hometown driver here. He is from Michigan, so definitely a special race for him to try to do well at. But the 20 of Dave Wilson was able to win that battle for now, having that outside line. As we've talked about in the pre-race, that is a very big advantage here, being on the outside, because there's not much grip down there on the inside of the racetrack for whatever reason. But either way, it looks like most of the field stringing out single file. Looks like your first battle is back in the pack with the 66 of Brian Lowhead. I believe that's for about the 14th position, but that battle has ended as well. We're on board here with Tanner Sharp, showing the side-by-side battling in front of him that just developed. I believe that's Billy Wise and Doug McCollum.
Oh, we got a battle for the lead.
You see Kyle Zimmer swinging way down there on the apron of the racetrack, and he's going to drive into turn 1. I think he will have the advantage here if he can slide up in front of Dave Wilson. Yes, he does. So give the lead to Kyle Zimmer, if just for a moment. I believe that the 20 car might have a big run, but no, he's not able to do anything with it down the backstretch. So give the lead to Kyle Zimmer on lap number 4.
We saw him get a run on the exit of turn 4 and go all the way below the white line in the apron across the start-finish line to get as much momentum with the least amount of track distance to get that lead. Overshot it, and was David Wilson was able to catch up, and he possibly thought about going to his inside, but decided it's only lap 5. Let's not go ahead and risk anything too much. He can take the lead. I'll pass him back at the end of the race.
And this is an effectively 3-car battle for the lead with Nate Catilla, Dave Wilson, and your current leader, Kyle Zimmer. All 3 of those cars very close together on the track. They've separated themselves from Tim Masters and Christopher Burge by just a few tenths of a second, but still a pretty close race up here at the front. First battle for position, I believe, looks to be between Alan Capers and Billy Wise back there for the, I believe, 8th position or so. AJ Digby carving through the field a little bit. He's up to the 8th, or that might be the 8th position, I believe, from starting in the 12th position. So yes, that is. As well as Tanner Sharp is flying through the field as well. He started back in 13th and is up to 7th. So both of those drivers back in the pack a little bit, making good progress. And I have to think that both of those drivers will make their way to the very front of the field before too long.
Batting side by side for 9th place is the 32 of Billy Wise and the 13 of Alan Capers. We are on board the 13 Capers. The fantastic gyro cam. Hopefully we don't get to see it used in action too much tonight, because that signifies the vehicle has flipped around. 32 gets a good drive off, but the 13 is a little bit faster. All the way to the rear bumper of the 32. Give a little touch right there. Friendly competitive touch in the middle of the straightaway. No harm, no foul. So 32 looks to move on and try to pass the 14 of AJ Digby.
Up at the front a little bit more, a battle for second position. Nate Catilla was able to get under Dave Wilson, but Dave Wilson, as once again having that outside line to his advantage. Ooh, Nate Catilla getting battled from Christopher Burge behind, so that move that he made into turn number 1, getting below Dave Wilson, might end up costing him here, but Nate Catilla has that outside line. He's using it to his advantage. Ooh, he's up in the wall just a bit, or very close to it. So Christopher Burge was able to keep pace off turn number 4 because Nate Catilla lost most of his momentum there through that corner, sliding up a little bit. But
3 wide
Dave
behind.
Wilson, 3 wide there. That's I believe Tim Masters. Ooh, look how close they are. There was almost contact there. I can't believe they didn't, but that was the 2-3 cars.
There's contact.
There is contact. Finally, off turn number 2, a bump from behind from Doug McCollum to Tim Masters. But the 2-3 cars, Tanner Sharp in the 3 and Doug McCollum in the 33, were very close together there in turn number 1. I cannot believe they did not make contact. That's about as close as I've seen race cars be without hitting each other.
So something we do want to know is the 24 of Matthew Leminuski was found going down pit road a couple laps ago. He is currently 2 laps down. And he actually spent quite a bit of time in pit road, about 22 seconds. So I think it's safe to say he maybe had a little bit of trouble there and ended up having to go pit road damage with that fantastic looking, I would say 1998 paint scheme, regular paint scheme with the Jeff Gordon as the 4 car hits the wall and goes all the way down to the inside. He's going to lose 1 position, maybe 2, and the 98 will do something about that. 98 struggles a little bit. He thinks the 4 was going to go, but he wasn't as they make. Wow.
How was there not contact there between the 3 and the 4 car? The Nate Catilla drove it into the corner, and I think he wasn't expecting Tanner to check up like he did, and there was almost contact there, and that would have been a huge wreck. But either way, both of them getting out of it okay. There's just Doug McCollum, who had some issues off turn number 4, but he did.
I don't think he had any issues. I just think he just clipped the dirt or the lowest line possible. As we're gonna go 3 wide again with the 17, the 9, and the 14. It doesn't last long, but these drivers. That's something that we mention time and time in these races. These drivers, they know how to race each other. They love racing with each other, and sometimes there are mistakes, but other times they know their positions pretty well. Take over, Cam.
Yeah, almost some contact there between the 13 and the 9 of Tim Masters. Of course, I think Tim realized what was happening. He backed out of it a little bit and ensured that there wasn't any contact there. But a good piece of driving for all these drivers so far early in this race. This is an 83-lap event, and these guys are driving pretty hard, like it is the last lap of the race, but no contact being, or no significant contact being made so far. And you see some blocking down the backstretch there from the 98 of Christopher Burge. Wow,
I don't know if that was
pretty
blocking.
Early to be.
That looked to me like 98 went to the inside to try to pass the 4. And then the 33 went even lower to the 98, not knowing that he was trying to pass the 4.
Either way, a lot of defensive driving, or something like that happening right now. And further up at the front, one car that is on the move, and I believe we might see a battle for the lead here pretty soon. That number 3 of Tanner Sharp, who we talked about, started all the way back in 13th. He is up to 2nd and catching the leader, Kyle Zimmer. So what a run for that 3 car. Of course, last week's winner at Pocono, definitely coming out here and showing that he right now is who's boss.
Let's run a lap on board the 3 and see what type of speeds he's getting entering 1 and see what type of line he gets as we see the 25 scrape the wall. Remember, these 2 drivers are teammates.
Yeah, so I think that battle for the lead here is going to happen sooner rather than later, especially after the 25 hit the wall. Let's look at lap times real quick. Tanner Sharp last lap was a 40.374 and a 40.902 for the 25 of Kyle Zimmer. Of course, he got up in the wall a little bit, so that did slow him down. But look at the closing rate. You can see on board here from Tanner Sharp. That car in front of him is getting bigger literally every corner. So I think 25 looking in his mirror, seeing that car is also getting bigger, and but about to see a battle for the lead here pretty soon.
181, 186, almost 190 to start finish line. Let's see what they're going to get entering the corner. Nope, 195 is the peak that Tanner got this lap. But the lap time differentials, we can see Tanner Sharp about 0.2 of a second faster, and he is definitely gaining on the 25 of Kyle Zimmer.
And I think he is right there in that realm of being in Kyle's dirty air. You really see he's losing the nose off of the corners. You can kind of see he gets in the gas a little bit earlier, but once he gets in that aero wash from that 25 car, he just really can't do anything about it. But he is running a little bit lower here, you see on the racetrack, and he was able to use that line to his advantage. He did get a very good run through turn 3 and 4, and is as close as he has been right in the draft of the 25. We'll see if he makes a move into turn 1. I don't think he will, but Kyle using a bit of a lower entry into turn 1. We're on board with him right now. You see that 3 car right behind him. He's going to pull low right into his draft. Might lose the nose a little bit here off turn number 2. Did a good job saving it. And look at that run from Tanner Sharp. We might see a battle for the lead right here into turn 3, or maybe Tanner will think wisely of it. But actually, yes, he does. He makes the move right here into turn 3 on the low side. Tanner Sharp, and on the high side, Kyle Zimmer going at it. That 3 car absolutely flying right now. I think he's going to drive by the 25 and set sail. So move Tanner Sharp to the lead. And it only took 15 laps to go from the 14th position 13th to the lead of the race.
I want to say that maybe Kyle decided once he got to this inside, All right, you can take it. You can have it. As you see, the closest battle so far, battle for 6th place is the 98 of Christopher Birch and the 13 of Alan Capers. Battling side by side. These two drivers have been battling side by side for a couple laps now. I would say more of the race, they've been close to each other, if not battling side by side. So it's good to see both of these drivers know their limits very well. As we see another one battle for, I believe, 4th place now between the 33 of Doug McCollum and the 4 of Nathan Sella. Patella's been struggling just a little bit, but I think with the speeds he's carrying, once he can hold on his mistakes and capitalize momentum, I think he could be a factor to win the race towards the end of the race.
Absolute contact. 98 was sideways in turn 1. That battle with the 13 of Alan Capers ended in almost tears right there, but Chris was able to save the car. I think we need to get a replay on that real quick because that car was absolutely sideways. We'll see it right here. There was a battle very close through turn 1 with Alan Capers and Christopher Burge, and you see Christopher Burge on the outside line. Just some contact there, and look at that. Good piece of driving. That's about 180 some miles an hour right there, so a very good piece of driving. You don't typically see cars get that sideways in Michigan and end up with nothing happened there, but either way, Christopher Burge did lose a few spots. Now he is in the battle with AJ Digby and Fernando Matos right in front of him. That is for the, I believe, 7th position. Ooh, very close here. Almost some contact from Chris to Fernando. Fernando got a little bit tight on that bottom side, and AJ was able to get the run off the corner, but almost some contact from behind there.
So the lead that Tanner has is slowly getting bigger, but it actually, now that I say that, it seems like Tanner might have messed up that exit of the corner because he just lost about 3 tenths of a second to Kyle Zimmer. I'm not sure if maybe that's just a fluke of a lap, or Kyle Zimmer is maybe realizing that he's faster than he thinks he is.
It might be that Kyle saw that 3 was coming and decided to save his tires a little bit and try to save some for later on in the run. We'll have to wait and see about that one, but either way, we're looking at... It could also be the phenomenon of where you're the leader, you tend to maybe run slower lap times because you don't have anybody to gauge your point of interest to. And then as soon as somebody passes you, you can realize, oh, hey, I actually, let me use the way they're driving to the corner. Like they're driving it differently than you are, and theirs is just a little bit more efficient. But because you're seeing them drive now, you can accustom to how they're entering the corner, how they're approaching it, how they're exiting the corner, and you can mimic them in a way that you can actually do it, but be even more efficient and catch up, or at least stay with them to the point where should you need to pass somebody, it's very possible. I've done that a couple of times, especially in the late models. Not late models, pardon me, street stocks, where you need to get every speed that you can to win a race. I was actually able to win a race once in the street stock in the league, just by staying behind the leader and watching the way he drives the corners and how he attacks it, and was able to ended up passing him with about 5 to go. Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely a thing that happens in racing when you can kind of have reference points to the other cars. Maybe you might be overdriving the corner, underdriving the corner, or whatever, but you can definitely. It was a very close battle there between Billy Wise and Tim Masters. That's for the 10th position, I believe. But that is definitely a thing, Carlos, and it really is. Especially at a track like this, it's so big and so wide. You really can't see your reference points of the wall and the grass that well when you're kind of in the zone, so using other cars definitely is a help there. But here we are on board from the back of the 9 of Tim. This battle for the 10th position still going at it pretty hard between Billy Wise and Tim Masters, how we were just talking about. Of course, both of these drivers a few spots back from their starting positions. Wise started in 7th, Masters in 5th, so not going the right direction, but still putting on a good show right here through turns number 2. Not really too much happening in front of them. Looks like everybody is quite equidistant. The one guy on the move right now is Doug McCollum. He just got around Dave Wilson for the 3rd position, and excuse me, that might be the, yeah, it is the 3rd position. So the 33 of Doug McCollum putting on good lap times right now. He is actually just a little bit quicker than, or right around the same speed as the 2 in front of him. That's not going to catch him though, but he is running competitive lap times, and definitely doing a good job right now. I'm surprised to see Dave Wilson struggling like he is. You typically don't see him not really able to go up there and lead the laps at this point in the race, but maybe he might know something that we don't. Maybe he's just kind of taking it easy because this is quite a long race here.
It is
very close there into turn 3.
That the 4th place is struggling, and you actually might be right with David Wilson. He's a very fast driver. I want to go ahead and take a quick moment while most of these drivers are single file to go ahead and mention the chat. We got a couple people in the chat room. We got Charlie Oxner saying, "You got this, you can do this." I'm not sure who this person is saying that to, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume it's for ourselves. So thank you so much, Charlie. And if you're not, thank you anyway. We also have GOM1600, a regular here at 3 White TV chat room. So you got saying, "Howdy, fellas." We got Roll Films Production saying, "Thanks." Charlie was probably talking to Roll Film Production. GOM1600 saying he's got goosebumps, or they've got goosebumps. It's going to be a good race, and the way most of these drivers are approaching the race and how they're driving each other, it's very possible that track position is key. You know what? I agree. Track position is key, as we see the 99 Johnny Birdie in pit road. And also, thank you so much, Jeff. I usually have a checklist to make sure I reset my mic settings, and I must have forgotten to do that, so I got that square out the moment I saw your comment. So thank you so much for that. The lead the Tanner Sharp has over Kyle Zimmer right now is about 7/10. 7/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second right now. David Wilson's about 2.5 seconds behind them, and Doug McCollum's battling him for 3rd place.
Yeah, Dave Wilson was able to get back around Doug McCollum for that 3rd place, so these two pretty equal on pace right now. You can kind of swap lap times back and forth with them. And right behind them is Nate Cattell, who is kind of just lurking back there in the 5th position. He was your pole sitter for tonight's event, but not able to really get out there and extend that lead or anything. But maybe he's just... he did kind of make a bit of a mistake earlier, got in the wall a little bit, and might be just nursing a bit of a damaged car and kind of just chilling back there a little bit. Let's just kind of go through the field a bit right now at this stage of the race. We're on lap 26, so really kind of at the quarter mark in the race. Tanner Sharp right there is your leader. He has about a second lead over Kyle Zimmer now, so putting on very good lap times, kind of showing that he's got this race in I don't want to say in the bag, but he is in control of it. Very good right now. 2nd place right there, Kyle Zimmer. About, like we said, about a second behind Tanner Sharp. Did start in 4th, up to 2nd place. This is his home. He wants to do well here. Back in 3rd place, Dave Wilson. Started in 2nd, running 3rd. I said he was struggling a little bit a while ago. That's just kind of... did the whole through the field curse right there. You saw him getting the wall there pretty hard. That was a pretty big boy hit. Doug McCollum's going to get the good run down the backstretch pretty easily. So move him up to the 3rd position. And move Dave Wilson back to 4th. Doug McCollum doing a pretty good job in the race so far. He started in 6th, kind of dropped back a little bit, but then fought his way back up. Was able to get back around Dave Wilson, so these two have been battling all day almost since Doug McCollum got to them. But a typical low-key but good run for him. There's Nate Cattilla in the 5th position, started in 1st, about 6.1 seconds behind the leader right now, but like we said, he did get in the wall. There's a bit of damage on that car, but doing a good job nursing it for what it is right now. Right behind him, Alan Capers, having a pretty Alan Capers-like run in 6th position. He did start 14th, so a good piece of coming to the field for him. Hasn't been able to kill any cones just yet, but just wait. In 7th position, AJ Digby started in 12th. Really might have expected him to go through the field a little bit faster than he has, but of course this is, I do remember him saying a few weeks ago, he does not typically enjoy this racetrack. So, he probably just having a solid run for his standards right now.
Did Alan Capers have a connection issue?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, wow. He's not being shown on the racetrack right now. Nope. Yeah, he's back now. I apologize.
Yeah, I did see that myself as well. But in 8th is Chris Roberge. Started in 3rd, so really not going the right direction he wants to right now. But don't ever count him out. He will be there at the end if the car is not destroyed. We have pit stops, I believe, starting right now. AJ Digby pulling on to pit road. You see right there at the bottom of your screen. So there might be some strategy being played at this moment. We'll have to wait and see if anyone else will join him in the coming laps, but that is a very interesting piece of strategy right there.
I think these drivers may have to come in one more time based on the way they're going down pit road. I do not quite remember how many laps these drivers can go on the tank of fuel, or accurately, I should say, I don't remember if this is a full fuel tank or if this is a 60% fuel tank like they do in the Split Series. I want to go ahead and bet my money that this is 60 based on how early they're pitting. But this is also 31 laps of so far green flag racing. And just with how big this track is, it's not exactly that far off based on what real life drivers are doing if you divide it and split it on 60 or 50% fuel. Since I believe they can do about 50 to 60 laps, can't they? As we have Kevin Cockerman pit road.
I believe for the Wednesday series they run full fuel because I'm looking at the info tab and it doesn't say anything about having to reduce fuel load. So
call me a liar because I've lied to you once again.
It might be. I might just be not seeing what I'm seeing, but we're gonna have to watch lap times from AJ Digby. He just flew around a pack of cars right now, and he's gonna be running significantly faster than right there your leader Tanner Sharp. And for a driver he was running back in the 7th or 8th position or something like that. So short pitting might prove to be a good strategy call because he will gain significant amounts of time on everyone at this stage in the run. But that will, of course, pay him back later on. On board here with Tom Johnson, who's going around. I believe that's 32 of Billy Wise. Yeah, I think a lot of people further on back in the pack saw AJ Digby pitting, and they're going to go ahead and try that strategy as well. For those further up at the front, I can't imagine they will want to kind of damage your strategy or something like that. So either way, we'll have to see what happens because Tanner Sharp has about a 2.3 second lead on Kyle Zimmer right now. He wants to stay out on the track and extend that as far as he can.
And that is the biggest lead of the day so far, considering the fact that the majority of the race, the leaders were probably never further than about 0.6 of a second to second place. It's been a very, very close battle this first couple of laps. Now, of course, people are starting to split up, separate more. A couple drivers make mistakes, others are showing that they can be more consistent. Then we got a couple drivers going down pit road for what I can assume is probably a different type of strategy, as we now have Doug McCollum entering pit road, which is actually really begging the question that maybe they will need to come down twice, and some of these drivers are just short pitting for the first part and maybe electing to run a longer second part.
From my experience at this racetrack, I want to say the fuel run is about 40 laps at the max, and of course that barely gets you to not halfway. This is an 83 lap race, so I think they just might be trying to 3-stop it at this, or 2-stop, excuse me. 3-stint, 2-stop at this point, so we'll have to wait and see about that.
Look, we're not math majors.
Absolutely
20 going down pit road. I believe that's 17 also going down pit road. Yes, both of them are. A lot of these drivers do have some right side damage from smacking up against the wall, some of them more than the others, which also goes back to the point that I was mentioning. You got to keep that right side clean. I think it's safe to say most of these drivers will probably like to use the faster period. Maybe not the 20, although I would probably do it considering how spread out these drivers are. We're not going to get too many cautions. But at the same time, we could just have a case of cautions breed cautions. GOM1600 with the classic pun. That's your free classic pun. One more and you will probably get timed out. GM1600 saying, I would say Tanner is looking pretty sharp right now.
And if we can go to the 33 of Doug McCollum and kind of look from the back of his car, you can kind of see the difference in new tires. You see right there, he was behind Dave Wilson by a little bit, and he just extended his gap over Dave Wilson by a few seconds right there on the pit road. I think that's about a lap difference or so, maybe 2 laps, but we see the difference in tires right there. So once that number 3 of Tanner Sharp hits, and everyone else behind him, who I believe first driver I was going to look for is AJ Digby. He is a lap down right now, but once it cycles through, he might be the leader. I don't even know. But these two drivers of Doug McCollum, Dave Wilson, they're all behind AJ Digby right now, and of course AJ was running in 7th position or so, and Doug and David were both running 2nd and 3rd, or excuse me, 3rd and 4th. So you can just see how much time that AJ Digby was able to make up in that preceding run by pitting, several laps for anyone else. You see the gap right there back to Doug McCollum.
Comparison of old tires and new tires.
Yeah, and of course Doug McCollum and David Wilson are going to be catching that 14 car because of the 7 lap difference in tires or so. So it's going to be to AJ's benefit as long as he doesn't lose too many spots in the next few laps.
No, AJ Digby is getting himself closer and closer to unlapping himself the hard way. He does have Tanner Sharp right up in front of him, so I would say probably next time by he will be back in the lead lap. You know what? I've lied to you once again. He just crossed the start finish line ahead of the lead lap, so he is now on the lead lap, proving me a liar to you all once again.
It's okay. It was close enough to we will say that timing and scoring was a little bit delayed there, so we can just kind of put that beside. But either way, that 14 car is making up huge amounts of time on the 3 of Tanner Sharp, as well as everybody else who hasn't pitted yet. And so are the 33 and 20. They're about to unlock themselves as well. They are both right behind the leader, actually going around them as we speak.
This is something that I do find very dangerous. Maybe not as dangerous in a big, wide track like this, but we were well, you weren't, but I was participating in the latest Red Racing Cup Series event where we were at Dover, and there were many parts, actually two times during the race, where we had to do green flag pit stops. And there was a point where I found myself in a position that I had to pretty much stay out and hope for a caution to get one of my laps back after having a fueling issue. Didn't get the caution I wanted, but there were a couple laps where I was in a very dangerous position as I had leaders zooming by me left and right, considering they all had fresh tires. And after 13 laps, just 13 laps in Dover, you were already a second slow. So I don't even know what. I don't even want you guys to think how slow the tires were after about a 60 lap run.
Yeah, that is a thing that really is prevalent in stock car racing as a whole. Especially when you go to a track like Darlington, where the difference after one lap is a couple tenths, and then just gets worse from there. It really starts to get dangerous there. A track like this really is kind of the best case scenario because you have so much room around you. It's like there's Craig Covington on pit road right now. He was in the 9th position, running right where he started. And one thing we didn't kind of touch on, Carlos, is this track is pretty easy to speed on pit road because you're going so fast, and you really have to slow it down to 55 miles an hour there.
It's easy to speed on pit road, and if something happens, I saw a bunch of smoke somewhere. It could just be a glitch, then never mind. It's easy to speed on pit road, and it's also even easier, just like in Daytona and Talladega, to slide right through your pit stall. These tracks that are huge, wide, carry a lot of speed, have a pretty high pit road speed limit, and it's the faster you get, the easier it is to just lock up the tires and zoom right past your pit stop. I've done it many times, and it gets even more embarrassing the more I do it.
Yeah, I've done that a few times here at this track as well. I believe I lost a race because I did that because brakes are hard. But either way, here's battle between Chris Herberge and Thomas Wise. That is not for position. Chris Herberge is in 4th. Thomas Wise is 2 laps down in 17th, I believe. We do have our first retirement of the race. Matthew Wisniewski, whatever issue he had early on in the race that necessitated him pitting, apparently did not get any better, so he is out of the event as of now.
It's a real shame. So far, we got 41 laps to go. The driver is Tanner Sharp. The Tanner Sharp, actually, the top 7 have already gone over half of the distance of the race. They did, but now Tanner Sharp and Kyle Zimmer are on pit road, which means they're only going to stop once, pending there's no caution. They're going to stop once. I don't know if the drivers that came in earlier can continue to go the rest of the race. It's possible, and maybe they were short pitting early, like I mentioned earlier, for a short first part of the race and a long second part of the race. But the way it's going, it looks like Tanner Sharp and Kyle Zimmer are planning on pitting just once.
That is very interesting. So really, that That does put a lot of advantage in both of their baskets, so that is going to be something to watch out for. I will want to see how those tires for those drivers that did pit already are going to affect that, how much of a gap they will have on Sharp and Zimmer, and as well as everyone else pitting right now. So it'll definitely be something to see.
Oh, something's up with the 32 Billy. Oh no, he's just going down pit road. I apologize. I thought that was turn 1. We got Chris Bird's pit road, 32 Billy Wise in pit road. We saw the four car in pit road. Nate Catilla, Tim Masters is the only driver that has stayed out. Once he goes down pit road, he will be giving the race lead back to David Wilson, who is on 10 lap old tires, followed by Doug McCollum on 11 lap old tires, and AJ Digby on 15 lap old tires. You know what? Why don't I go ahead and make it easier for you guys? Take a look at when was the last time these drivers have gone down pit road. How many laps it's been. The biggest number we can see, of course, is AJ Digby with 15 lap old tires. I really don't know if that strategy will work out for him. I think he went down pit road too early.
Yeah, especially since he's already fallen behind Dave Wilson and Doug McCollum. The 4-lap difference in tires there are pretty big. Tim Masters on pit road as well, so I believe with him pitting, we should be cycled all the way through, and yes, we are. He does have a bit of right side damage on his car. No doubt come down and get that repaired. And so that does give the lead to that car right there of Dave Wilson. And there's a battle there. That's Craig Covington, and he is, I believe, 1 lap down behind Doug McCollum right now.
Once again, these two drivers side by side, 56 and 98, although that is actually short-lived now that I mention it.
So one thing I want to point out, Tanner Sharp is seconds behind the leader, Dave Wilson, right now. Kyle Zimmer, who came down right behind Tanner, about 2 seconds behind at least, or not that far, but he is 9.5 seconds behind the leader. So Tanner was able to gain a big chunk of time on the rest of the field during that cycle of pit stops.
Yeah, something that was noticed when he went down pit road, when both of these drivers went down pit road, I didn't actually get a glimpse of how the 3 stops went, but I did notice that 25 did lock up his tires going down into his pit stall, and it's possible maybe he had to back it up. I cannot confirm that, but there was for sure a sliding of the tires, but whether it affected him or not, that's yet to be determined. Let's go ahead and see if we can take a look at their pit times. Tanner ran, his whole total time in pit road was 39 seconds. About 40 seconds. 14.8 seconds of that he was spent in his actual stop, changing his tires, while AJ Digby spent 40.4 seconds in pit road with about 15 flat in his pit stall. So all that adds up to just over a second and a half, maybe a little bit longer, and then it's possible that Tanner Sharp could have outbraked him entering pit road and could have just had a faster pit exit entering into the backstretch than Kyle Zimmer did. That all equates into having this length of a distance to Kyle, as Tanner Sharp is now going to take over second place. That's 5 lap tires versus 15 lap tires, and their lap time differences are pretty big. It's already over a second with Tanner Sharp running a 39.43 second lap time, and Doug McCollum running a 40.6. That's about 1.2 seconds off compared to each other. So that's going to be a pretty big number considering he's about to pass the 20 of David Wilson. He's right there in his rear bumper. Wilson has just 1 less tire, the differential is 1 less compared to him and McCollum, with David Wilson having 15 lap tires at this point now, and Tanner Sharp having 6 lap tires. Tanner Sharp to the lead now. This is looking really, really good for Tanner.
Yeah, especially since Kyle Zimmer is still about seconds behind this battle, so really the fact that he was able to clear through these cars as easy as he did, and just kind of get through everyone and get himself back to the lead is very good for his chances tonight. So really, with the fact that he only has to stop once and everybody behind him up to Kyle Zimmer has to stop twice.
Well, not confirmed, but it's possible.
You would think that Tanner Sharp he's looking pretty right now, and that car very fast. It might be on the right strategy, so it'll definitely be something to see. But for now, that 3 car looks to be set pretty well right now.
Well, don't put everything away. How many times have we witnessed a driver dominate and just show pure skill in what could have been another victory, only for it to go away with a last minute caution that had a very different degrees of possible scenarios that eventually resulted in the fastest driver not winning. How many times has that happened to you?
You know, that has happened to me more times than I'd like to admit, and of course I've seen it here on 3x TV.
Because I'm never a driver good enough to win a race, but go on.
You know, we've seen it here in the SimPossible Racing League on 3x TV a few times as well, so definitely, you know, something to think about. But, you know, this track, of course, I think this is the track where I've had the most caution-free races in my sim racing career, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. This track just really lends itself to being a track that doesn't tend to breed cautions all that much, because this is not NASCAR and we don't throw cautions for no reason. So you know, I probably had like 10 or so caution-free races here in various leagues and official racing. So the fact that I probably ran about 15 definitely bodes well to this being at least a, you know, one caution or fewer race.
If anybody here watching this live or watching this VOD and has a personal story, whether it happened to them or happened to somebody else, about getting screwed over by a last-minute caution when you were clearly dominating a race, please feel free to drop a comment. If it's live, we'll probably read it live. If it's not, then we'll be reading it and we'll be crying along with you.
Absolutely, having the ice cream and the alcohol and the tissues and all that stuff that we cry along the things with.
I cry just thinking about the potential people having these issues. Go on.
We were looking at Kyle Zimmer. He's actually making his way through those cars that have that need to pit one more time as well right now. Excuse me, words are hard.
Okay,
Dave Wilson, Doug Collum.
Now, Kyle Zimmer's fast right now, and he's faster than these drivers who have older lap tires. But is he faster than Tanner Sharp?
Actually, he is running lap times a little bit quicker than Tanner Sharp right now, I believe. 40.6 for Tanner.
Somebody faster than Tanner Sharp right now, and it's Kyle Zimmer.
He was about 3/10 quicker last time, so if if Kyle can keep up that pace, he's 3 seconds behind the leader right now, getting by the 20 of Dave Wilson, so move him up to second place. We might see Tanner Sharp kind of be challenged a little bit, so maybe my talking just a few minutes ago was a little bit preemptive. We'll have to wait and see for that, but he is running lap times faster than Tanner Sharp consistently right now.
How about we go ahead and compare those lap times?
Last time Tanner Sharp ran a 40.368 and Kyle Zimmer a 40.333, so not much faster, but it is faster.
Now with about 29 laps to go, does he have enough speed in him, momentum, and tire saving techniques to actually gain about 3 seconds on Tanner Sharp? I want to see a battle between both of these fantastic SimPossible Racing veterans. But at the same time, honestly, as a realistic person, I don't think it's possible that Kyle Zimmer can gain that much with about 28 laps to go. Maybe I'm looking at it at a different point of view. What do you think, Cam?
Well, I think right now Tanner Sharp is battling some lap cars right now, and he did actually get held up a bit off too. I think he's going to lose several tenths on Kyle Zimmer this lap. So, you know, you have to think that Kyle Zimmer, in a perfect world, would lose the same amount of lap time going through those cars as Tanner has, but it doesn't always work that way. Lap cars tend to be a bit more difficult for the leader because they want to stay on the lead lap right now, but he is by the bulk of the pack, getting by Craig Covington in the 96, so we'll have to see what the lap times were last time. Tanner ran at 40.632 to Kyle Zimmer's 40.627, so that is not enough of a lap time delta to make any real difference at this point in the race, especially with Tanner getting through lap cars, and a bit of trouble for the 99 of Berardi in front of Kyle Zimmer. He had to get off the gas, so he's going to lose time himself. That is not what he wanted to see.
All right, so we actually do have another story. This was from GM 1600, a residential chatter, saying that in one of his NASCAR Heat 2 leagues, he had an over 30-second lead at Sonoma with 3 laps to go. And the race director threw a caution when he spun, and he didn't collect any other cars. Oh, I hate it when league directors do that, or race directors when they help themselves clearly when they probably shouldn't have. He said he got wrecked on the next restart and he ended up finishing 10th. Oh my God, that just hurts to even read. I'm so sorry. He also said he had said many more than a few expletives after that. Oh, Gio, that's a shame. And you know what? You won in my heart. You're number one.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those stories you just want to kind of sit down with a bucket of ice cream and maybe drink some adult beverages with. But either way, that does happen in racing, and it does happen naturally as well. These two right here on the screen, Dave Wilson, Doug McCollum, they're about 5.5 seconds behind the leader right now. That battle for the third position pretty solidly. They are about 6 seconds ahead of AJ Digby back in fifth, so this is a pretty spread out race right now.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing anybody that's close to each other. It's possible Doug McCollum is within the draft distance from David Wilson. Yeah, it looks like he is, but the way they're going, I'm not sure if they can do anything. So let's just let's go through the field. Let's go ahead and start with Tom Johnson, who is 13th, first car 1 lap down. Tom Johnson had himself a very quiet night, not necessarily having the actual race he probably wanted to tonight, finding himself losing 2 positions since the beginning of the race where he qualified. He's currently about a second and a half off of his fastest lap in 13th place. We got Billy Wise, who we used to refer to when we first started broadcasting this as William Wise, because that's what Desire Racing said, but now he's Billy Wise. Not having a good night. He's lost 5 positions since the start of the race, finding himself 12th, 35 seconds behind the race leader. Hopefully, for him, he probably hopes there's a caution that he can go ahead, get fresh tires, and possibly have a better chance at passing some more vehicles and getting himself in the top 10 at the very least. Tim Masters also having a possibly even worse night, losing 6 positions from when he started in 11th. He is also had a quiet night, not seeing any damage. So if he had any damage, he's gone down pit road. Pardon me, going down pit road is AJ Digby. This is what we were probably talking about. They probably didn't have enough, Cam.
Well, remember, AJ was one of the first cars to pit on the last sequence of pit stops, or I think he pitted around lap 25 or so, maybe a bit before or after, but definitely he did not stretch it to halfway like the other Tanner Sharp and Kyle Zimmer were able to do it. So it definitely means that Dave Wilson, Doug McCollum, those drivers that pitted before halfway are going to have to come down pit road as well. So really, for these two Chevrolets at the front of the field, it's looking pretty good at this point.
The only thing I can think of, Cam, is that AJ Digby thought that the tire wear would be so massive that by pitting an extra time, he would gain back that time on the track with the fresh tires. All that time that he would have lost in pit road another time. That's the classic Formula One strategy. But even then, in most races, from what I can tell, Formula One, the strategy that requires the driver to come down pit road less usually wins. But in order to do that correctly, you're going to need a driver that has a huge skill in saving tires.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, I would say that might work if this was the older Michigan that wasn't repaid, because the tire wear was a bit worse off there than here where we have the fresh pavement. So I'm not sure if that's going to work out or not. Of course, like you said, cautions might come out, stuff might get mixed up, but either way, logic has to dictate that those drivers that stretched it to halfway, which is Tanner Sharp, Kyle Zimmer, and a few others, are going to be better off than the ones who didn't. So we'll see how that plays out, though, for the cars who weren't able to do that.
Montos Pit Road, those 2 crew members better stop talking and better start changing those tires.
And I have to say, though, that motion blur on the broadcast looks good. So I hope that all the viewers and everybody, hope they all like it. And because I got to say, it definitely does look pretty good. Maybe a bit cinematic, but
Well, in real life, our eyes do perceive motion blur, so it's kind of realistic.
That's very true. So the lead from Tanner Sharp to Kyle Zimmer now up to about 3.7 seconds. So Kyle really not able to make a dent in Tanner's lead and have able actually
this is really bringing home that theory of those drivers are planning on stopping a second time. The way it's going, I don't even know. This is probably one of those, the simpler the strategy, the better, because Tanner Sharp currently leading with about 19 laps to go. He'll more than likely comfortably finish the race. He ran longer in the first stint of the race, and he will in the second part of the race. And he already has the experience of running with old tires, so I don't think that Kyle probably has anything for him, and I don't think anybody else will, even if they do have fresh tires.
Yeah, because you have to imagine that once you come down pit road, that's what, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds right there. So if you're, if you were 10 seconds behind or so, you're pretty much lapped by the time you come off pit road by the leader, Tanner Sharp. Of course, you'll get back around him with the fresh tires, but then you have to, that's all that track position that you've already lost right there. So I think, like you said, the simpler the better.
That's got to be the case once again. We got a couple more drivers in pit road. David Wilson down pit road and Kevin Cochran. That is a 20 and 80 going down pit road. I'm not really seeing anybody else slowing down to do it. Everybody else lap times, tire laps are about the same for the top 9. I don't really see anybody else going down pit road at the moment. I think everybody who came down early is in pit road except maybe Thomas Wise, who is on 33 lap old tires. But he is so far back. He's currently 2 laps down that I'm not really seeing Cochran's having some connections. I'm not really seeing him having a contention for the race win unless you can get a bunch of cautions going on at once. And I'm talking a bunch because there are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers that are only 1 lap down ahead of him.
And with the way this race is looking, kind of like we brought up a little while ago, everybody is so spread out, and this track is so wide and so big that you have to think that, the caution, if you're a driver, you just have to plan on the caution not coming out, really, at this point. It kind of looks like it's not going to, and like I was saying with the trends of this race, for at least myself, really, the odds are increasing every single lap of the caution not coming out, so we might see a caution-free race here today.
Let's hope we can do that. I believe we've already seen 1 caution-free race, or at the very least, we've seen a race that had only 1 restart. I do remember that, but did we have a caution-free race? I think we did.
I want to say that we did, and it might have been at this racetrack with the trucks, if I'm remembering correctly, or a track
I'm not
like
counting
this.
road courses, of course.
I want to say it was at this track with the trucks, but I'm not completely sure, and I'll have to go back and
Jeff
should
know the answer.
research.
When we interview Jeff, he'll be able to set us straight on that. Currently 8 drivers on the lead lap, with Tom Johnson looking to, I think he's already a lap down, honestly. No, he's going to be a lap down. He's the first car in Tanner's radar right now. Tanner, not actually seeing too many cars at the moment, but even if he does, he has a 4.5 second lead to Kyle Zimmer. Tanner is pretty much set at this point. He can just coast and relax. He can afford to give a couple tenths away. I really hope I don't see Tanner doing anything not correct. I mean, if he hits the wall, he has really nobody to blame but himself. He gets stuck behind lap traffic. He has the time to elect when to pass lap traffic without putting any danger to his vehicle at all.
Yeah, absolutely, and really, you got to think right now that really he doesn't even really have to get through lap traffic that well, because the lead is now 5 seconds back to Kyle Zimmer. So really, he's it's almost in the wall there for the 25.
No.
So he's not able to
96.
get through lap cars. He's not able to get through lap cars as well as Tanner has been able to. So that's really not playing well to his chances for this race tonight.
Let's go on board a lap with Kyle Zimmer and see how he's taking these corners. Currently second with about 5.5 seconds behind the race leader.
Let's see what kind of RPMs he's pulling into the corner, right up there to the 9,000 mark, down to about 7,000 or so, 6,000, 7,000. Really, the speed doesn't drop off too much here. You're about 190 into the corner, 195, down to about 165, 170 through the corner, so that 20-mile-an-hour difference. Down the backstretch, you only get up to about 185, I believe that was. But the front stretch, of course, a little bit longer, a bit curving, so you have a bit more distance to gain the speed off of.
Looking at those lap time comparisons, it's pretty clear on. Of course, now that I say that, these lap times are pretty much dead on with Tanner Sharp being just a little bit faster. But the last lap he was well over 4/10 of a second faster than Kyle Zimmer. Let's see how he does on this lap, and then then we'll go and take a couple laps and look and see how Tanner Sharp is driving the course on his own.
Yeah, we're about to be working just 10 laps to go in this race right now, so this race has gone by extremely quick. Really one of the quicker races.
You got tight, you got to get off completely. Almost hit the wall. This lap time is going to be pretty much a dud. Let's go ahead and compare it to what Tanner Sharp is doing. Tanner currently in the middle of 1 and 2, exiting 2 right now. In the backstretch, he does have some help, although at this point it may not even be help in the corners. Going down, they're running pretty much around the same line, but it's just the way Tanner's driving the exit that's really showing me he has what it takes to come home with a completely clean race car and win the race. Entering turn 1 and see if he goes towards the middle or if he goes towards the bottom. He tried to put his tires up against that black seam, the very bottom black seam. It didn't really work, and he kind of migrated up to that second seam, but it's something that we mention, or that gets mentioned every time even the real life drivers come to a racetrack like Michigan, like California, that have these black seams across the racetrack that are almost like dividers. You don't want to touch those. I'm not sure how well implemented that is on iRacing, but in real life, you don't want to touch those because that's just going to take away the grip of whatever tire lays on them. I don't know if you have any more information on that, Cam.
I do believe they do actually lessen your grip in iRacing. I've definitely known people that have said that, and staff members and people like that. So I do believe that it is actually implemented, that those seams are a little bit less grippy. Bit of a gaggle of cars right here, starting from the 66 of Brian Lowhead on back. I believe some of those cars are lapped down, some aren't. But there's Billy Wise. He's in the 7th position. He's the last car in the lead lap. Tim Masters in front of him, so he is 6th. It's probably one of the closest battles on the track right now. But these cars are right in front of the leader, Tanner Sharp, so really about to go a lap down, probably in just a few laps. We'll see how adamant Tanner is about getting around them. He does have a 6.5 plus second lead over Kyle Zimmer with not that many laps to go, so you gotta think he probably will take it a bit easy and not try to force the issue too incredibly much right now.
Tanner Sharp not even in the same zip code to where Kyle Zimmer is. Kyle Zimmer losing more time as the laps go on. With 7 laps to go, something drastic has to happen for Kyle to have a shot at passing Tanner. But the next time by will be a very, very special lap. It will be the lap where we enter a zone in which we can show for the first time ever on the 3-White TV broadcast. That is, if a caution comes out, we would be entering a green-white checkered. Now, this is the last thing that we want to see in the race, but because iRacing finally has given leagues and official races the option to finish a race in the green, I'll be happy to even see that get used as opposed to seeing this race end of the caution.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is something that is going to be huge for really anything. And I did some research right now.
How'd that go?
It didn't go great because I did not find what I was looking for. But either way, we'll try to look for that a little bit earlier, a little bit later on.
So, Cam, something we did kind of forget to go over when the race began is the current point standings. Now, there were a couple changes in the last race. Tanner did end up winning, and he's currently winning right now. So how does that speak onto increasing his points lead that he has, and how are the points looking so far?
Well, considering that he has already locked up those laps, led by the forever margin, and definitely doing his best to get out here and get the win. Of course, that would be a max points day for him. So I believe with Dave Wilson was the points leader before he decided to take a break for school a few months ago. So I think the current points leader is Kyle Zimmer running in second place. So of course Tanner doing everything he needs to do to claw back the points he might have lost in the last few races or so.
almost made contact with the 9 of Tim Masters, putting him a lap down. That would be the driver in 6th position going a lap down, resulting in only 5 drivers being on the lead lap. That's something we really need. The Tanner really needs to be careful about. He has the distance. He has the distance to not put himself in a position to ruin his race. And he's 3 wide. He's almost 3 wide up against a couple of lap traffic as the 9 hits the wall. He almost made contact with the 9. He almost made contact with the 33. I'm not liking the position he's at. If I were him, I'd just let these drivers go on by, refocus, and just finish these last couple laps out. He's already lost 0.6 of a second to Kyle Zemmer. He's still 0.7 of a second up ahead, but why risk it at this point? You have the race locked up. Don't ruin it for yourself.
And we have a battle brewing for the 3rd position now. Alan Capers and Nick Tilla go down. Alan Capers actually in the wall hard, spinning down the backstretch. We'll see if he was able to save it. Yes, he was. Nick Tilla had to make evasive action there, but that's going to give him the 3rd position, I believe, pretty handily. Alan Capers just now getting back up to speed, so your pulse hitter looks like he's pretty well off right now, but we'll see what happened there on the replay. Alan Capers just got in the wall and lost, and never was able to regain it. Now, if this was Michigan 20 years ago, he probably would have wrecked it because that was all grass down there. But, of course, now we have asphalt, so you can kind of do that. But Tanner Sharp up to about a 7-second lead.
Get your kazoos
like
ready.
You said, yeah, get the kazoos ready. We have one more lap to go here at Michigan International Speedway. And what an absolute dominant performance by this driver tonight. Tanner Sharp started in 13th, carved his way through the field like a hot knife through butter, and made it look easy. Has a 7-second lead on the nearest driver and 26 plus to 3rd place. So something in that car, and I will have to we'll look at the engine or some kind of suspension in there or something, but that car was absolutely on rails, and really nobody came close to challenging him once he got to the lead.
Let's go ahead and get that animated flag, man. Wave that checker flag. Tanner Sharp wins the race.
Yeah, you see the flagman right there. Good addition. I didn't actually know about that until really right now. I was right now years old, so good to see that. But right there, Tanner Sharp, we have a comment in chat from GOM1600, our resident chatter, saying that Tanner put on a clinic tonight. I agree, my friend. What an absolute drive for that 3 car, and he should be proud of that. That's one of the most dominant performances I've seen in a long time from anyone. Speaking
of clinics, no better driver to put on the clinic than the driver that has one. On his, well, I don't know if it's a clinic, but it has a medical related place on his sponsor in his car.
And I have to think that he will be very happy to talk about that when we interview him after his celebratory burnouts or whatever he decides to do here on the front stretch. See if he decides to tear the grass up or do something, but either way, he's deserved it, my friend. Do your burnouts, give the fans a show. You already gave them a dominant performance today, so very good drive from Tanner Sharp.
Oh, don't wreck him.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Michigan International Speedway. We just concluded Words Are Hard once again tonight's event, and we're going to have some interviews for you guys in just a moment. As in, once I bring these guys up. First off, we're going to talk to our third place finisher, Nate Catilla, and Jeff Schmidt, who I think will be on behalf of him. But I've got both of these fine gentlemen here. So, Nate Catilla, third place finisher tonight. You were our pole sitter. Put off an absolutely flying lap time to start off the event, and you were also fastest in practice, but just not able to kind of keep up with those two Chevrolets that finished 1 and 2. But either way, a pretty good night. Just kind of tell us what you thought about it.
Yep, I'm here. This is Jeff with Nate here. I think he's going to type out what he wants me to read for him, but he's also going to talk a little bit, hopefully. I know a lot of people want to hear his voice, and you may not be able to understand him right away, but of course, after hanging out a long time with him, I've been able to understand most of what Nate says, but anyhow, he's going to both type it out and hopefully say something as well. And
awesome stuff to hear.
I'll let you guys know as soon as I get a response. He said with mileage, they planned on a 1 stop, but they thought with 1 they would out. I'm sorry, did I cut out there? He said he was planning on a 1 stop. He had good fuel mileage, but he was afraid to run out with a 1 stop. So I think they did 2, and unfortunate that 1 stop it looked like would have worked, but it didn't, as some guys did take the 1 stop. So he elected to do the 2, and not quite what he wanted, but happy to get a 3rd out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. One more question before we let you get some shout-outs, Nate. But we go to Iowa next week. It's a short track, kind of like this track in shape, but a lot smaller. How are you looking forward to that one?
I'm not saying that, Nate. No. No.
Always a good one to hear that one.
He said he had a bad fast car tonight, but he said that in a different way. He liked his Bass Pro Shop car kick some bass. We'll put it that way.
Well, that's what it says in, well, somewhat of what it says in the quarter battle.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty neat. Nate, people want to hear your voice, buddy. You want to at least say hi to everyone and thank everyone for helping you out? You did a great job tonight, Nate. We always look forward to watching your race, buddy. And you already have a win in the league. You looking forward to next week?
Yeah.
Awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Next week we do go to Iowa. Before we let you go, Nate, we know you got some people you want to shout out, so you want to go ahead and thank some people, or rag on some people if you want, or whatever you want to do. Go ahead and do it right now.
All right. He says he wants to he wants to thank Charlie Oxner first off. He wants to thank you guys in the booth, 3 Wide TV. He wants to thank the league and all the drivers, everyone that participates in here. He always has a great time. Always looking forward to the next race. He wants to thank his dad for helping him out. I recently was able to speak with his dad as well, and I've been waiting to because he seems like a really nice guy, and it's so cool that he helps Nate out to have him participate in here and helps him out in iRacing and getting going. And sometimes I know he helps him shift, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, awesome stuff.
Very cool. Glad to hear all that, Nate. We thank you for coming in here and talking with us. Congrats on finishing in the 3rd position. No, you probably wanted a little bit more with that blinding fast lap time you put up in qualifying, but either way, it's a great run, and it's always great to talk to you. Jeff, I appreciate you being in here as well. We're going to keep you in here, step aside for just a moment, and we're going to find out where Mr. Second Place Kyle Zimmer is. And he's right here, and I believe Carlos has caught up with him.
Actually, you may have to talk to Kyle, because I'll be messaging him the questions, unless, Jeff, you want to take the honors for this week.
I can go ahead and talk to him if you want me to, and you can just get Tanner and whenever we're done with him. But
Fantastic.
all right, so Kyle Zimmer, you were one of the one-stop drivers of the night, finishing 2nd place to Tanner. I know you came out here and wanted to get a win at your home track, but kind of just take us through your race. How did it go for you?
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race. Yeah, we had a caution free, but it's not too surprising at a track like this. It was definitely good strategy throughout the field, and early on I had a fast car, but they pulled away, and I noticed Tanner started sneaking up slowly, and then he got around me, and I kind of followed his lane to see if I could keep it up. I was able to keep it up for about 10-15 laps. Then he just kind of pulled away, maybe within another second before pit stop, and not sure what happened in the pit, but it seems like I had a slow pit stop. I lost about 2.5 to 3 seconds. And I was there, was able to gain about almost 2 seconds before I started lost the ground again. I mean, Tanner, he had a fast car, lost the serve win, and I had nothing for him at all. Just had to manage my tires and not hit the wall at all, and try to get done. Was able to settle for second, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, one thing I want to ask you, you were able to keep up with Tanner for a few laps, like you said. Were you able to learn anything from the way he was driving the track and maybe get you a little bit quicker?
Yeah, try to keep it up. Yeah, I was able to obviously entering in let go of the gas a little earlier than when I was leading. Learned some things right there, and kind of not use so much throttle in the center of the corner, and I think that's what was hurting my X's. Possibly maybe more tire wear right there, and I noticed he was a lot faster at Xing out than I was as well, so I think I learned a little bit about that from him.
Absolutely, and before we let you go, I'm going to ask you one more question. Next week we go to the Iowa Speedway, the short track that's shaped much like this one, but just a lot smaller. Last time we were at a short track, you were able to take the victory last time we were at Richmond. So how are you looking forward to that event?
Yeah, Iowa, definitely one of my favorite track in iRacing, and won a trucks last season. And as the yellow came out, and then yellow for the race. But this time, by tracker things, that could definitely come into play next week. And Iowa, I've been really good at shorts in series lately. I think I've won two of both so hoping to get another short track win next week. Definitely looking forward.
All right, Kyle. Well, thank you very much for talking with us. As always, before we let you go, we're going to give you a chance to give some shout-outs you want to give.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to shout out to you guys, Rewind TV, Cassie, and want to thank Jeff for everything he has done. Everybody who participated in it. And want to thank my sponsor, BWTV Design, for sponsoring and board with me after the season. I want to thank Bubba Racy for it as well. That's sweet.
All right, Kyle. Well, thank you so much for talking with us once again. Congrats on finishing second. A very good run for you tonight, and hope to talk to you again next week, bud.
All right, thank you so much, Cam. Now, before we do go ahead and talk about what a fantastic race this man just had, and what a clinic he put on, we got to talk about the special paint scheme this man has on his race car. Tanner Sharp, do you have a moment to tell us why this month is special and why this paint scheme is special for you?
Well, I'll just say here. Okay, we're good. All right, yeah. It's this paint scheme because everybody would knows here that I was a former patient of Shriners Hospital for Children, and every year they have a arthrogryposis, which is my disability, and it's at the end of the month this year, Arthrogryposis Awareness Day, which is June 30th. So everybody on the arthrogryposis pages throughout the awareness, because June is Arthrogryposis Awareness Month. So that's what the ribbons stand for. We stand for all of them. It's a rare disability, 1 in 3,000, but hey, we stand with them. And man, this car was fast today, even though we were just taking it easy.
All right, fantastic, Tanner. Well, let's go ahead and get to the nitty-gritty, Tanner. You just straight up dominated tonight. You didn't get the pole. You weren't in the first couple laps, but once you took the lead, especially after you went down pit road for the one and only time, you ended up just pulling away and getting a huge victory. Why don't you go ahead and take us as to how this race went for you overall?
Yeah, at the start of the race, we weren't going to qualify. I've had limited runs on this track. I've never ran a league race on the newer Michigan yet, and I just wanted to take it easy. I wasn't going to fly. Maybe could have qualified, but it was actually pretty cool starting with the back with the boys and all that, and racing with them a little bit. And we were just kind of taking it easy, buying our time, and we kind of had to make a move 3 wide at one time because that's that was my thoughts. Like, okay, I gotta take this 3 wide because I kind of want that line on entrance and everything else. But once we got out to the lead, man, we were kind of smooth sailing. We were pulling away from Kyle. Looks like some guys kind of burned off their tires right off the bat at first, and then we were kind of thinking fuel. That first pit stop on fuel. All of a sudden, some guys decided to come in early, and I was just trying to play my math right, and I'm thinking, man, if I can make this past like 42 laps, man, I'm gonna, and this stays green, this is my first and final pit stop. So that's what we did, and that's how we won the race. We eventually caught, I don't know who else was out front. I think Dave was out front, but we just blew by him on tires, and we got the lead, and Kyle was kind of stuck in traffic a little bit. And we were just kind of smooth sailing from there. We were actually clutching it in the middle of the race, that first pit stop, and we were also clutching it during that, after that first pit stop, just to make sure we could make it on gas, and we absolutely did. So that was a good card playing hand on the fuel strategy, and we won the race here at Michigan. So that was a lot of fun.
That's fantastic to hear. Yeah, we noticed that there were a lot of drivers. Pardon me, I wasn't talking to the mic. We noticed that there was a lot of drivers that tended to think about maybe pitting 2 times during the race. It seemed very, very strange considering that you and Kyle were each able to, a couple of drivers as well, were each able to go well over half the distance and then hit pit road. I don't really know how they would have probably considered that a winning strategy unless there was a caution. And even then, it would have given you guys the advantage. But you ended up getting the race win, although those last couple laps seemed just a little bit too hairy for me. You almost made contact with the 9, you almost made contact with I believe the 33. It seemed very close for a couple laps. Did that seem close to you at all, or maybe it wasn't just something that we could see because we weren't in the racetrack?
Well, touch up what you said about build strategy at first. What you were just saying there. Yeah, I think Kyle was just kind of following me. I didn't expect him to follow me. I was actually expecting to pit like a lap before I did to kind of try to gain like an advantage or something like that. But he was just trying to follow me. It looked like from my rearview mirror, and I just wanted to make at least 42 laps, because if I made 42 laps, I knew I could make it to the end or on gas. But I did clutch it in the middle of that run after that pit stop just to make sure, and I did, because when I came across start finish line, I had 6 laps left on fuel, so I knew I was saving gas. So that was a good call right there. As far as the traffic's concerned, no, not really. It didn't seem too hairy. It just seemed like understanding where everybody's going to put their vehicle in the middle of the corner and being a guessing game about that. So, with that being said, the guys that I was around, it was a mixed bag. You had guys on fresh tires and you had guys on old tires, so you kind of had to get easy through that, because I wasn't racing Kyle at the time. I think Kyle was like 4 seconds back or something like that, so I had time to like just mess around, and maybe he would gain a couple tenths, which I wasn't really worried about. As long as I get through this traffic, man, I can just kind of keep going back to my rhythm. So that was the nature of the plan tonight. It was just at first take it easy and learn the track a little bit, and we learned in a quick hurry the way the guys were running their lines and the way I can get into the gas. So that was a good learning curve right there. So it was pretty fun.
All right,
understanding all that stuff.
Well, thank you so much, Tanner. Let's going through my notes here. It seems like next week here in the B Car Series, we're going to Iowa. Who decided it was a good idea for me to talk to Tanner when they're going to Iowa next week? I don't even know why I'm saying that there's nothing happened between us in Iowa, but your thoughts about that racetrack?
Iowa Speedway? Yeah, Iowa's it is a character. That track was built because of Richmond by Rusty Wallace. Thanks to Rusty Wallace too, and the characteristics of Richmond. So Iowa's a fun track. I'm looking forward to go there. It's a little different track than Richmond, but that's okay. That gives Iowa its own character. So Iowa's going to be a lot of fun. It's a short track. I'm not expecting a caution-free race, but hey, Iowa's always been a fun track. The high line's going to come into play eventually, and through turns 3 and 4, so we have to watch out for that. But it's gonna be a lot of fun at Iowa next week.
That's great to hear. Well, Tanner, there only leaves one thing left for us to do here. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give out to the fantastic people that helped you?
Well, yeah, thank the good Lord above for all the opportunities He's given, even and family, friends, 3 Wide TV. Jeff for putting on the league, for SimPossible Racing League, for all these fine gentlemen who have some sort of disability. Shriners Hospital for Children and Arthur Grapposis Multiplex Cagenta. There is a conference about that disability in Norfolk, Virginia on July 3rd through the 6th. I had my dates mixed up at first, but July 3rd through the 6th, 2019. It is AMC month, so you'll expect to see these ribbons back on the car for sure. And Mountain Dew, the Guard, National Guard, and I don't know, everybody brings this together. It's a lot of fun. For sure, and the guys who run in this league, without these guys, SimPossible wouldn't really exist. So they keep their hard work going, even though they might not win the races every week. They might not. They might struggle at some tracks, but the fact of the matter is, they still go out and they give their best. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Tanner. That will conclude the interview portion of the racers here tonight. But before we go ahead and wrap this up, we have another special person we need to talk to, as I was just informed by my father that the Marlins are still dominating the Brewers. It's currently 5-1 after they hit a grand slam. Jeff, how are you doing today? You must be very excited after seeing these fantastic drivers go caution-free at a racetrack, resulting in a different type of race that we saw even from on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Caution-free, awesome to see, especially with a bigger field than what we've been dealing with lately. Had 18 driver starts tonight, so not the most that we've had, but definitely more than we've had recently. But it's awesome to see that these guys come out and race anyway. We always want to see everyone come out when they can, so always cool to see when we have a bigger field. Our second time in the league that we've gone caution-free, and it's pretty damn impressive. I know Michigan is kind of one of those tracks that tends to go green, but that doesn't mean that it's always going to. I mean, the guys did an awesome job of keeping it clean. A couple guys getting into the outside wall a little bit of damage. I know a lot of guys were hoping for that caution, banking on that caution, especially those that were trying to pit or make it a two-stop race. What really won the race tonight and to have good position was to have that one-stop race. And I also want to reiterate what I said earlier when I was reading what Nate was writing me. I completely mistook him. He did make it a one-stop race, and that helped him get up to third place. I believe he pit a little bit later than Tanner and Kyle in the hopes that they would be short on fuel, but he did make it a one-stop race. So our top three did make it a one-stop race, and it showed at the end that that was the thing to do tonight. Of course, you wouldn't necessarily think that you would have to do that, but again, you can't in this league anymore. You can't bank on a caution. We might be going green a lot more than we're used to, so you always got to play your cards right and expect it to go green. So good job by those guys to stretch their field out to do that.
Yes, Jeff. Just fantastic to see how far these drivers have come since the very beginning when we started broadcasting you guys. Now we're going on to Richmond next week on Wednesday and USA on Monday, I believe. That's what Cam told us. I have easily one of the world's memories. What are your thoughts regarding what we're going to be seeing next week for the SimPossible Racing League?
Yeah, next week in our B car we'll be going to Iowa, actually. Next week, Wednesday, we'll be at Iowa for 166 laps. A short track, races like a short track. It is technically a short track. A little bit different than a couple other ones that we're used to, but it's a fun track. Of course, it might not be as clean as the racing tonight, but that's not going to be purposely. That's just, that's what happens at short tracks, and it tends to breed cautions just by racing hard and kind of running out of room. Whereas Michigan tonight, whole lot of room tonight, one of the widest tracks we have. So that will be the difference. Either way, the guys will do an amazing job. On Monday, we go to, I just want to make sure, on Monday we go to USA, International Speedway. Unfortunately, no longer there in real life, or not used anymore, rather. Awesome track. It's one of those that you kind of, for most of us, you start racing on that track in the rookie series, and not many other vehicles race there, but the K&N car I think will do a good job there. Another short track. I think the guys are going to do awesome, man. It's going to be a little bit different. USA is really about apexing that corner and figuring out your driving line. So the guys that can figure that out, they're going to be up ahead.
That's great to hear. So I don't believe we have anything else to discuss. We didn't get a chance to witness a green-white checker tonight. You guys do still have the advantage of being the first one we broadcast on Monday if that does happen, but at the same time, I'm glad it didn't happen. It's a caution-free race, and I hope we don't really need to use green-white checkers. It's just great that we have the ability to now. Before we do let you go, do you have any shout-outs you have to give out for us?
Yeah, no doubt. Gotta thank you guys in the booth and for always being there, always broadcasting and commentating for us. Since day one, you guys have been there. What is this, race number 52, 51, 52, something like that. You've pretty much been there for all of them. Well, you have been there for every single race from the beginning. And man, I can't really put into words how much that means to me, that you guys stepped up from the beginning to help us out, and not only have done that, but stuck with us to help out. I truly believe that by doing that, you guys are extremely blessed, and we're just very proud to have you guys do this for us, and not only to have you do this for us, but to also call you a friend of ours. Very, very cool thing, man. So thank you, Carlos, Cameron, Peter, Greg, everyone at 3 Wide TV that's helped us out in the past. Thank you so much, guys. The drivers, of course, without them, this wouldn't mean anything. This is designed and dedicated for them, so of course got to shout out the drivers. They do an amazing job. Every single race, man. It never ceases to amaze me how awesome these guys can race around with some form of disability, and some of them are pretty darn severe, so you know, it's definitely inspirational, to say the least, to know that these guys are giving it their all and overcoming obstacles that maybe people wouldn't think that they'd be able to, and they surely are. Not only to overcome them, but to drive a caution-free race tonight. I mean, man, it's amazing. Thank you to their families that helped them out. Without their families, they might not be able to do this and experience this. And gotta shout out the families of the drivers to help them and to allow them to participate in these things, man. Gotta thank everyone that watches the videos on YouTube and supports it. Everyone that comments and likes it, subscribes to your channel, 3 Wide TV. Thank you so much. We're not going anywhere anytime soon as far as SimPossible Racing League, and I hope to say the same with 3 Wide TV with us. So make sure to subscribe and you'll catch all the races as they come on Mondays and Wednesdays. Other than that, yeah, just very, very fortunate to be able to help these guys out, and that they have so much fun doing it. Of course, if they didn't have a good time, it wouldn't be worth it, but everyone's having a great time, so we're going to continue to do it. And nothing's going to stop us, man. We're going to keep going.
Truer words have never been spoken. Congratulations, Jeff. Another fantastic race. Kevin, let's go ahead and read the final results for the night. In first place, Tanner Sharp, dominating victory over Kyle Zimmer, who just didn't have the car at the very end, and it wasn't even close with a 7-second lead in second. Nick Attila in third. Alan Capers finishing fourth. Chris Earl Birch finishing fifth. Doug McCollum in sixth. AJ Digby will be finishing seventh. And Billy Wise in eighth. Tom Johnson ninth. And in 10th place will be Tim Masters Cam.
Finishing in 11th position, Dave Wilson, who had some trouble there at the end. He was one of the, top 3 fastest cars tonight, up there running the top 5 most of the night. Had some issues there. Fernando Matos coming home in 12th. Craig Covington 13th. Kevin Cochran 14th. Brian Lowhead 15th. Thomas Wise 16th. Johnny Berardi 17th. One of the drivers we talked about in pre-race having a special dedication for this race, and the one retirement of the night, Matthew Lesniewski, had some issues there early on the race and was not able to complete the event. But that's all we got for you guys tonight here from 3 Wide TV. We hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Michigan, always one of my favorite tracks to watch and to race on and all that stuff. I want to give a shout out to Sim TV for the cameras that allow you guys to watch the angles that we do each and every week, as well as Thomas Morris from OCR TV for this graphics package that looks very good. And I want to give a shout out to all the viewers, all the chatters who keep us entertained during the races, whether you watch live or you watch the replays. We do very much appreciate it. So that is what keeps 3 Wide TV going. But from myself and from Carlos, I want to bid you all guys a good night and stay awesome.